All right, so today is another episode of the Financial Life Podcast, and today I have a guest on. My name is Mike Coombs, and we're going to discuss the amazing world of taxes. Yes, advising and then some. All that fun stuff that people don't want to talk about. So before we get into that, I do my usual shameless plug. So, as you know, I help people with some financial literacy, coaching, and a little bit of credit. If you like some help with that in those areas, you can book a free call with me at speakwithmatt.info. Again, speakwithmatt.info. No need to put in the triple W. If you do, it won't work. It's all good. And today's episode is sponsored by Own the Risk. That's a book that I helped to co-author. I'm one of the 40 authors of the book. If you'd like a copy, reach out to me and I'll help you get one. With that being said, I have my guest on Mike Coombs today talking to us about things about taxes, advising, being fractional CFO, all the things of business that people need and help educate us on and how that helps them to grow their business. So with that being said, Mike, thanks for being on. How are you?
Okay. So actually, Matt talked about the tax portion. It's not something that I really advertise because I'm focused on helping business owners really become more profitable, more successful. And so taxes is the last thing that we actually look at. What I try to do is just make sure that they do the things that they need to do to become successful. Um, so it's all about business advisory for me.
Gotcha. I
Uh,
was going to ask you, like, well, we're talking about taxes. How can I stop paying taxes legally for the rest of my life and get out of them?
no,
I can't. There's no way to do that.
there's no way to do that.
No,
A
fine. This
lot of people
podcast
have
episode's
tried.
over. We're done.
A lot
Click.
of people
Done.
have tried. Right. Hey, but you know what? If you are making good money, you shouldn't be averse to paying your share of taxes, because the um, the government is supposed to help you so that you can have a better business. That's not always the case, of course.
Oh no, we won't go. Yeah, they're supposed to, but then it's like,
Yeah.
why isn't it? Because you said when we spoke about you said it actually would it behooves people to pay their taxes, and why and what do you mean by that? Because everyone gripes about it, but like, how does it actually benefit people while we're still on this topic?
Okay.
People don't see it, may not see.
Yeah, we all live in the US, right? And we have certain benefits like a paved road, to drive on. Things
Yeah,
like just the basic necessities that you need to do things. The government makes sure it's there or are supposed to make sure it's there. So you can be more effective or efficient in what you have to do, you know.
gotcha. The paved roads argument.
The paved roads,
Payroll and this and that.
right.
And it's like, cool, we get that. But some of the things, it's like, where is money going? Everyone's paying into. It's like, what is this do? What is it doing?
Yeah. I mean, that's always the question. But those little things. There is a hospital that's built without you before you even pay the taxes. There was a hospital that was built. So you still have to pay for the doctor in the hospital, but
Yeah,
that's a different story. So they do provide certain benefits to you, that you can take advantage of. Um, but yeah, I won't talk too much about taxes because what I want to focus on is the ability to grow your business. And businesses are built to for you to grow them, for you to make more cash.
mhm,
Some businesses are better at it than others, but they all can do it effectively. A lot of people just don't know the right things to do or when to do these things. But there are actually certain drivers that you can manipulate. So if you know where to look, you definitely can get it done.
gotcha.
Like, you probably wonder why, like your Apple or your Microsoft, how did they get to that level? And they actually have dedicated CFOs or financial advisors just for them, just dedicated to them. I'm actually a fractional CFO,
Hmm.
so I do the same thing that would be done for an Apple or a Microsoft, but for the small to medium-sized business.
Gotcha. So what? So for people that don't know, like,
Uh,
what is a fractional CFO? Because I've heard fractional like HR. Like, does that mean like you're there a fraction of the time, hence the term fractional? Like, what is it
yeah,
exactly?
the fractional CFO is not dedicated to your business. They actually have a slate of businesses that they deal with. So let's say you need that person for maybe 3 hours a week, then they can give you that 3 hours a week. So they're fractional. It's really, as I said, the percentage of 24 hours, it's not the full 24 or the full 12-hour day, 8-hour day.
Gotcha. So they bring you on, you work with them for a couple hours a week, whatever the case may be, and it's
Right,
contractual as well, not just like you work for one company full time and that's who
right.
you're dedicated to. Okay.
Mhm.
So what are the challenges that businesses that you've seen or that they're running into that's not allowing them to grow the business to the scale they want or allow it to scale to where they want it to be?
There are a number of different challenges. The biggest one that I see is cash.
Hmm.
They need cash, they don't have enough of it, so that's the number one.
Yeah.
And I show them how they can have that cash growing consistently. So you can get cash in a number of different ways. The big three are, from the bank, you can have equity investors, or you can have your business actually doing it, actually generating the cash. The more cash that business generates, the better it is. They don't have to go to the bank as much. I mean, the loan does have its place, but you have to pay it back. You don't have to pay back the cash that your business generates. That's the hands down the best way to do it. So I show them how they can do that and do it effectively.
Gotcha. Yeah, because that seems to be that is a problem for a lot of business owners. From my experience and working on the business funding side,
Uh-huh.
would you see that's like the number one? That's the number one like issue for the majority of businesses, or is that like number two?
That's for the majority, that's the number one. The you know, it can fall in different slots. Maybe it's number two for your business, but for most businesses, usually number one. They don't have the cash to invest in let's say they need a team. They really need a team they don't have enough cash to develop a team. They
Hmm.
don't have enough cash to get the equipment that they need or make the investments that they need. They just need to have that cash. Other big thing is that, the team. They don't have the team that costs cash. You know, they rely solely on the owner. The owner is a chief cook and bottle washer. You know, they once again they need the team.
Yep.
So it really depends on what they do.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna ask you this: how did you get involved with to where you are today? You started with taxes. Like, what made you like, I'm going to do accounting and advising and then taxes and all this? Because no one I know goes, I want to be what were taxes? We're
Well,
taught as kids that taxes are terrible. We're like, okay, it sounds like a bad thing. Then we get into it. And we're like, this is a bad thing. This is terrible. I don't want to deal with this. You know?
yeah. Well, tell you what, even when I did taxes, I knew, well, I still do tax, but even when I did it, like that was my focus, I actually wanted to be able to draw a roadmap for the business owner. I thought that would be so awesome if you could tell them what to do, when to do it, and
Yeah.
why it made sense to do it. So even when I did that, I was just looking for the platform that would allow me to do what I do now. And I know that most business owners don't like to delve into the financials. It's not something that gets them excited. So
Yeah.
what I do is do all that stuff in the background and just provide them with a scorecard so they know what's important and when. that scorecard actually tells them. So, and we sit down with the business owner each month, to see exactly where they at. Are they ahead of task, or, do they need to play catch up?
Yeah.
And so we set targets. That's the very first thing we do once we know that we can work with a business owner. We set targets of what you want, of what you really want to accomplish by the end of the year. And and then we actually break that out into 12-month periods. We look at what's going on every month. Along with the business owner, we decide what do we want to do and when we want to do it, and we develop the plans to get it done.
Gotcha. So
Uh,
you like to see the growth from where you meet them currently into then, where they're
right,
going to be.
right, yeah, and it's something that I really enjoy. You see, my major was economics, and it's something that I really love. So I actually just the idea of strategizing with the business owner of how you can get from A to B. That's something I really like. So I just decided that if I'm not going to work with economists to show them how they can get to where they need to be, I want to work with business owners to show
Yeah.
them because they impact the economy.
Yeah.
The small, medium-sized business owners are the ones, not big business.
Yeah, I heard it was a stat. I forget where did I hear it? Oh, it was on, I think it was who was it? I want to say it was either Valuetainment.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a podcast with Patrick Beck David. I follow him. He has a good podcast.
Okay.
And his YouTube channel. It was him or somebody else. It's gonna drive me nuts now who it was. But the no, it wasn't. It was another lady. It was on another YouTube channel I follow called Forbidden Knowledge, and talking about like small business. Small
Uh-huh.
businesses are responsible for like 60% of the jobs in the economy.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
huge percentage. It's
they're
like
they're responsible for a huge
the
percentage.
majority. It's not
Yeah.
not the big major corporation everyone thinks.
Uh-huh.
No, it's the small businesses.
It's a small business, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the rubber meets the road, man. If that small business is not thriving, then your economy is kind of like junk. Things percolate up from small to the top.
Yeah.
Having it trickle down from the top to the bottom, it's kind of like a hard sell.
That's what we're told, and it doesn't really work. But
Yeah,
like to do that, it goes to the big ones. It's like, well, no, it has to start from the bottom and go up that way.
yeah,
'Cause
it
that's
has
where you're gonna
percolated
have,
up.
yeah,
Yeah. If it starts at the top, first of all, there's no foundation because it's built on something. So you really can't have it start from the top and trickle down. Though it does have an effect, right? But there's so much friction because your billionaires at the very top, they want to keep it. They
right.
want to keep whatever it is. So it trickles down very little, a very finite amount trickles down. It's better to work from the bottom up,
Right.
build a solid foundation and get it up.
You should run for a local office and be like, no, no, Stan, I understand this works. Give them
Uh,
cash, give the business owners, gives the people, and goes up. Everyone's profitable. There you go,
yeah,
done.
yeah. That's how it works, man. Ask any economist, they'll
Yeah,
tell
they'll
you
tell you that.
that.
And like for some reason,
Yeah.
they're like, no, it's like let's not listen to what we say because we don't know anything
Uh, right.
as far as that goes.
Mm.
Um, Let me ask you this. So what can small business owners do? Like, what are some tips they can do to start changing their situation? Like their problem, they're right now cash is a big problem, and then whatever else that they're going through. Like, what are some simple things they can do to like turn things around?
Okay. A simple thing they can do, you know, it, well, I was about to say, to really do this effectively, you have to reconstruct your financials, right? That's how I do it, reconstruct the financials. But one thing they can do fairly quickly is isolate the sales outstanding. that's a byproduct of accounts receivable.
Yeah.
If you get day sales outstanding down, cash goes way up, you know. The other days payable outstanding, get that down, the cash goes up. So there are a number of things. Some you want to take down, some you want to take up. But if you have those moving in the right direction, if you have one or two of them moving in that right direction, you're on target to have a growing and more successful business. So yeah, start with days sales outstanding and get that down.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Uh,
Hmm. Good to know.
uh,
Um, as far as like what you've been doing, like other than the caching, like what are some mistakes what are like the biggest mistakes you've seen businesses make? You know?
okay, not pricing right. That's a big one. You know, you start your business, you don't want to you want to undercut people. You know, you want to be the guy that people come to. So you're gonna
Yeah.
so a lot of people you find try to undercut everybody else, and
Yeah.
that's what gets people disaster. That's a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's to get your pricing right and get it above right if possible, you know. But always be fair, but get that right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've read about that too, like the race to the bottom, this undercut because it just keeps going and going and going and going and going and it
Right.
just stops. I think because it didn't happen at one point in history with something else was going on. We've seen in business. I wanted something's come to mind. I feel like it happened where their businesses something I could be
Uh-huh.
totally wrong. Maybe your memory, you may remember like at one point one of the big name store brands, whatever it was years ago with this price cut, and they're just literally racing. I feel like it happened at one point in history and it didn't work out well.
Yeah. Um, you know, cash is so important. Think of a company like Uber. We all know Uber, right?
Yeah.
And Uber has went for years without making any profit. I mean, it had grew gobs of cash. It had
Yeah.
cash galore, um, because investors were throwing money at them, but there was no need for a profit. You know, they went on. I think they earned the first profit last year. So they went for
Yeah. It was
the full
recent.
15 years without making a profit.
Phew.
You know, so that kind of tells you that what you should focus on is not so much the profit that you make, but the cash that your business generates. You know, if you can generate more and more of that cash, then business success is something that's bound to happen. Profitability follows, you know, it,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's basically what I focus on, you know.
I agree with that.
Uh,
Focusing on the cash part is something's
yeah,
not really taught. It's just like I don't know. A lot of things, I think a lot of things that we're not, there are a lot of things that we're not taught growing up that we should learn. Then we start off as employees, then we make the transition or change to being a business owner, and there's so
uh,
much more that we don't know, and we carry habits to that, and then it's like,
right,
why is it not going well? Because we weren't taught the fundamentals, the 101, the basics of
right.
this works, you know?
Uh, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Um, you know, it's certain very simple things like when you start a business, you want to protect your assets, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe you start with an LLC to protect the assets, you know. That's not the most effective way to grow for most businesses though, but we definitely should look at protecting the assets, you know, things like that. If you're just starting out, not commingling funds, not mixing funds up, you
Yep.
know. What's business fund stays business, what's private stays private. Because if you don't do that, you run the risk of jeopardizing your LLC because a good attorney, the first thing he looks at is what they call breaking the corporate veil, you know. So your corporate structure, if there is some commingling of assets, then they would well, I said break, I mean Pierce the corporate image
Yeah,
of the
peers.
corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So keep things separately, get a good bookkeeper, you know.
Do you still do bookkeeping or no?
No, I try to have a good stable of people who I can recommend as
Yeah.
bookkeepers, but it's not something that I try to do anymore. You can try to do all things, and do
Yeah,
nothing good, or you can focus on one thing and try to be very good at that thing.
I
Yes.
agree. Trying to,
Uh-huh.
I've done that. I've made that mistake in the past, trying to focus on too many things. You get big,
Uh-huh.
nowhere, and focus on one. It's like, oh, okay, we're actually getting somewhere, and you actually get growth out of it and change.
Right.
So, fractional CFO.
Fractional CFO.
I want to know more because I this is a fractional CFO. Is that like a relatively new thing, or has that always been around? Because I've only
Well, the term the CFO has always been
yeah,
around.
yeah. I mean, I meant the term fractional. Seems to be like a new
Fractional
thing recent.
is something newer, all right? But businesses have always had like C you always had your C-suite, your CEO, your CFO, and forgot what's the other one that you had. But there's always been like three people in the CF in the C-suite, and the CFO is one, but it's always been like geared towards larger businesses.
Yeah.
It's now become a thing where yeah, the smaller and mid-sized business can take advantage of this as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Because I, like I was saying,
I
I've
forgot the COO, Chief Operating Officer.
yeah, COO and all that. That's been around, but the fractional part, I heard this like I
Yeah,
think
the
over a year
fractional
ago.
is fairly new.
I was like, fractional, what's that? So you're
Uh,
like fractional person, like part of the time, all the time.
right. Uh-huh.
It's a good thing to give to the smaller businesses that need access to help them grow. Because like
Right.
small
Yeah.
businesses are the backbone of the country. If you don't have that,
Uh-huh.
oh, we ain't be in a lot of trouble.
You've been in a lot of trouble, man. A lot of trouble because that's where all your growth comes from. That's where all most of your taxes come from, so you can build those roads, those schools, what have you. Yeah, they all depend on that small business doing its thing.
Mm. Oh, the things I learned more about. It's just like, geez, like
Oh
it's such an
man.
intricate thing in the economy. It's like, oh
Uh-huh.
God, little tax thing. You tax too much, it dampens. If you reduce it, you actually help things, gives more
Right.
prosperity, more cash flow, instead of the whole
Uh-huh.
cash thing with all that. So,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
goodness.
And the other great thing for the small or medium-sized business owner to focus on is building into their contracts like a year-over-year increase so it can actually match inflation,
Okay, that makes
because
sense.
inflation is real. It really, if you just set your price and go there, inflation will kill you in a couple of years. So you do want to have a year-over-year increase.
Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't know about that.
Uh-huh.
Because especially right now, we're all learning that the hard way with inflation, just kind of like seemingly coming out of nowhere in the last
Right.
2 years. And here
Yeah.
we are with it. It's like, this
Uh-huh.
is not fun.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Those little things. Those little things. Yeah.
What else should business owners know about, what you do, and what else should they know, like things they could take away?
Oh, one big takeaway is that for the business owner is that there is a tried and true method to improve your cash, your business success. This is something that can be done. You can definitely transform your business, right? That's a major takeaway. And other thing. Now, if we had the time to like go through the various cash flow drivers, and we don't, but it would be to get familiar with the various drivers. But that's for me.
It's for you
That's
to
something,
dig in and find
yeah,
out
that's
what's
something I
going
would
on.
do. Right.
Right. I see what you're
Uh-huh.
saying. To go down there because
Uh-huh.
there's a lot more to it. And
Uh-huh.
would you say that for you and your approach that you can't have a blanket approach to grow business? Each one is different. There, even if it's in the same industry, each one
Yeah.
has its own individual needs that like that you say, okay, for you, you need this.
Yeah.
They may be in the same industry as you, but this is what they need. Kind of like
Right.
your health and dieting and vitamins and all that stuff.
Yeah. We are every business and every individual is different, they do have different needs. So it's, as they say, it's not a one size fit all, one size fit all thing, that's why on when we develop the scorecard, it's very specific to the business.
Yeah.
Your business ought to do this, and the other person's business should be maybe doing the very opposite.
Right.
So it really depends.
Yeah, I think people I think still want this blanket approach to everything. Like,
Yeah,
oh, I should. It's like, no, you can't.
you
That's
really
just
can.
you really can't, like, to your whether it be trying to go for your own success and health,
Uh-huh.
whatever it is, like what you need is different than the other person. And then we see
Seriously,
this thing like,
right,
oh, the 3 steps to succeed. It's like, well, that's true, but you may need like the other steps to succeed based on
right.
this path, or whatever. So
Yeah, your formula for success may be totally different from my formula, but we all get to success.
right.
Yeah.
That that's very true. See, I wanted to ask that because that one blanket approach, I think, screws up a lot of people.
Yeah, it
And
does. It
I've
does.
learned it took me a while to get it, but I was like, yeah, it's not gonna work. Like, especially in the world of dieting, you see, oh, this is
Uh-huh.
the new diet trend. And it's like, no, that diet may not work for you based on where
Right.
you're at, what you need, or anything else. And then it's just like,
Right. That's
it's like,
that's why you have your trainer in the gym, man, because
yep,
they show you how to do the thing for you, and it has to match your body type, your structure, everything.
yep. And this is why you're the fractional CFO. You're the person running the gym saying, hey, look, so what your business needs, I can help you with this, this, and this. Here you
Uh-huh.
go. And here's how you help with the cash aspect. And then we
Uh-huh.
can talk about taxes, which you don't
Right.
want to talk
Right.
about.
Yeah. I do taxes. I do the taxes for. I don't do taxes for a lot of people, but I will likely always help with the taxes at least for the businesses that I am a fractional for. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
And there's certain individuals if they find me, because I will do the tax, but I don't advertise the tax portion.
You're like, yeah, you're like that because I remember when I first met, that was like your forefront. Now it's like, no, I'm gonna do the advising part, which is cool, but it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
And the fact that I have that tax background does help me a lot in CFO.
Yep.
Uh,
Got it. Cool. Well, Mr. Coombs, I thank you for being on. It's been a good episode today.
uh,
Last question for you is the most important one. How can they get in contact with you? They're like, hey, you know what? I could benefit from having this person, having this man help me with my business.
you know, um, well, I'm trying to think of an easy way to get in touch with me. Probably if they have your contact, they can contact you. Um, but for me, the my email is cornwallcfo@gmail.com. That's probably the best way to get in touch with me, you know.
Got it. Spell it
Okay.
out for everybody so they
Yeah,
know.
that's CORNWALLCFO@gmail.com.
Cool.
Okay.
Awesome. And then I'll tell them to say, hey, if you reach out, tell me you heard about him on this podcast, and who knows.
Right.
Go from there. Let him know. Hey, he's out there. He's known. Cool, man. I thank you, sir, for being on. This has been very informative and good to know him. For everyone else, do reach out to Mike. I did send him a referral and it worked out very well. So he does take care of his clients. He means it. So
Uh-huh.
helping you take care of you. Cool.
Okay. I should say you could try on like I'm not on the social websites like Facebook
Hmm.
too often. So you'll probably miss me there if you try to find me there. But LinkedIn, you can find me as well. So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
All
I think this is
right.
the place to be. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you for being on today.
Thank you. All right then.